What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast. Today we have a special guest all the way from Cali. This man, he is a business owner, entrepreneur. He is a concierge, wellness doctor. He is also the owner of Remedy Place. Please help me welcome the one and only Jonathan Leary. What's up, brother?
How's it going, guys?
Going
great,
well.
man.
Going well.
How you been?
Really good. Staying busy.
That's always a good thing, right?
Yeah, you can't be busy during these times, right, man? It's,
Very fortunate.
yeah. Now, how are things out in California right now? You know, with the health and wellness space, and just kind of overall, what's the word I'm looking for?
Vibe.
Yeah, vibe. I guess that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, LA's slightly a weird place right now. Gyms still aren't open. Restaurants aren't open unless you're outside. Luckily enough, under my license, we're an essential business, so we are open, which has, outside of this pandemic pushing everyone to show them how important their health is. With that being said, and with us being able to be open, we've been busy. So, for our members and our team, it's just been a blast in the club every day. Because I think we're probably one of the only places that's indoors that is like semi-social to an extent. If you come with a friend, you can hang out with that friend. We're not doing the events or having things in the lounge and bar area, but it's still nice to see people and connect with people because it's a big part of the healing process.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I think we all are kind of really missing that human connection right now, right? Especially without being able to see people's, facial expressions really, right? Other than, I feel like I've gotten pretty good at like being able to see like how someone feels based on their eyebrow movement, but I don't think I'd have it quite nailed down yet.
Yeah, no, it's isolation is not a good thing for our health, and we need to be around people.
That is the truth, man. That is the 100% truth. So obviously, having your center is definitely bringing a lot of value and health into people's lives. So actually, I was in Cali not too long ago. Was it October 13th, I believe?
Right.
Some of the stuff you're mentioning, I was seeing a lot of places close down. I had some buddies that were like, yo, I was like, dude, let's get a workout in. He's like, bro, unfortunately, our places are closed down. We can only work out at the park. And I was like, shit, okay. Which we did anyways, which is great, but yeah, it's crazy because, obviously we're in Miami. So in Florida, things are a little different. Obviously not completely, not everything is completely open, but there's the majority things like gyms are open and stuff like that. So when I had gone over there, it was kind of like reminded me back to when the whole lockdown kind of happened. And I was like, man, I can't access anything.
I was actually just in Miami last week.
Oh yeah, where were you at?
I stayed at the one hotel.
Oh,
I
so
was just there.
you're near him.
Yeah, that's not too far from where I'm at. I don't want to get doxxed, bro. Don't be good. Oh yeah, by the way, my address is my phone number. Are you crazy?
So when you get off the bridge,
Insane. Yeah, but that's not too far from where I'm at. I love the one hotel. It's a very beautiful establishment.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, and then you missed the showers that we just had not too long ago. This past weekend. So
I missed it too. I was in New York. I literally flew in today.
Okay.
For you, bro. I flew in today for you.
I love it.
So what services do you offer? You're the owner of the Remedy Place, correct? So you said, you kind of fell within that gray area of being an essential business, which, good for you. I'm glad to hear that you guys were doing really well during these times. We constantly talk about the fact that our businesses have been, better than they ever have because we've been able to double down on that. But I kind of want to dive into like what services you guys offer and, what makes the Remedy Place such a interesting and popular place to go to in LA.
Yeah. It's the world's first social wellness club. So it's a whole entire club centered around holistic self-care and one that's made to enhance your health and your social life at the same time. So basically we've pinpointed that, there's some stress that we can't eliminate in our lives. Our work stress, our travel stress, our social stress, which really isn't there at the moment, our workouts, not sleeping, just low energy. So we basically created a holistic remedy for each thing. just to counteract whatever that stressor is. So say you land at LAX and you have jet lag and your body's aching, you come here, we reset the circadian rhythm and get your body moving so it's not in pain. Or, say you had a meeting last night and you might have had too many glasses of wine, and the next morning we come here, bring you back to balance. And then we have a whole entire social component to it, kind of like what the fitness industry did with group fitness, we do with healing. So everything in the club you have the option to do by yourself, but we'd rather you do it with others. And most of our members, they're very busy individuals. So we're not asking them to add another thing to their schedule. We're asking them to do a healthier substitution. It's like where you have your meeting spots, where you have your date spots, where you go after work to unwind. It's where you go instead of having a Sunday brunch. And we just wanted to create a club that was temptation and toxin free. Because I thought like all my patients over the years, we were able to fix whatever thing they were dealing with, but they'd be like, Dr. Leary, my social life's starting to suck and it's isolating. And I'm like,
for sure,
isolation is not healthy. So we need to fix this. So I saw a huge opportunity for that. And it was really cool in the beginning of the year when we first opened for it just to be a natural substitution. It really was a meeting spot and a date spot. And we have everything from hyperbaric chambers, infrared saunas. We commercialized ice baths in a way that has never been done. So we actually have breathwork ice bath classes. Amazing. So 15 minutes of breath work outside of the tub. And then you're coached through 3 to 6 minutes in the ice cold water, 39 degrees, but you with a group of people, and it's really, really fun. That's been a huge hit. Then we have cryotherapy. We have cupping and acupuncture. We have chiropractic, physiotherapy, Chinese medicine, functional medicine, which is all the blood analysis and genetic testing. And then we create full holistic nutrition programs to basically bring your body back to balance based on the results. We have, lymphatic drainage massage suits, vitamin IVs, vitamin injections, a whole entire studio where we have meditation classes, sound bath classes, doctor instructed stretch mobility classes.
Damn.
So one-stop shop, baby.
You guys have hotel rooms too? I know where I need to stay around.
we know down the line we might.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
And then the actual studio turns into a screening room. So it's a healthy place to watch the Super Bowl, the Grammys, the Emmys, a Monday night movie or a Sunday afternoon documentary. And then we have the whole bar and lounge, but no alcohol. We either have plant-based tonics that will give you some sense of euphoric feeling, or we have non-alcoholic spirits that will infuse with high doses of certain vitamins to actually give you a buzz.
Okay. Yeah, that's very intriguing. What really, you kind of mentioned the stress aspect of it, right? We can't avoid stress. We both as coaches try to explain this to our clients as best we can, but what was really like the aha moment for you and the people that helped you build this up, where you were like, okay, I think we have something here. I think that there is like a hole in this market where we can, play a big role and help, improve people's lives.
Yeah. Well, before Remedy Plays, I had my private practice for 5 years. So I really did the clinical evidence on every single thing that is in the club. Like no one just pitched me, this is an amazing thing that you need to put in Remedy Plays. It was that I used it for 5 years, and I learned how to combine certain things in different sequential orders and timing. And then it was just the results, people saw results with every single thing that they would come to me with. And, when I was building this out and actually like making this happen, a lot of people along the way, they're like, that price for a membership is expensive. Like, do you think people are actually going to come in on a regular basis? It's like, is self-care a thing? And I'm like, guys, it is. Like, people need this more than ever. We need to take care of our bodies. My pro athletes train 40% of the time, but they're recovering 60% of the time.
Yep.
I'm like, everyone else is far, far less healthy and a lot more pain and a lot sicker. And I'm like, we just need regular maintenance. And then I think it was just that first month when we opened, we still to this day haven't done any marketing. It's just all like word of mouth. And we were just so busy. And, people, not only are people signing up for memberships, and I think we'll actually be sold out by the end of the year.
Congrats on that.
Thanks, guys. But people are coming way more frequently. They're staying way longer. And, everything that was like, oh, we don't really know how much, like I know how much I would tell my patients to do it and they'll do it. But for, this whole new group of people, it was just the first couple of months where we were like shocked, you know, in a way of, because it's a new company and it was just word of mouth. I'm like, hey, let's see what happens. And it's just a beautiful thing to be around people that are so excited to come into the club every day. And then by the time they leave, they always leave feeling better. So just think of like being around that energy all day of people that are super happy, they're feeling better. And then it's just this really cool team and environment. It's just really special to be around all day.
I bet. So when's the Miami one coming?
Yeah, it sounds like we need that down here, man.
It's I think Miami's coming sooner than I thought.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the second one, right? That's the second one.
No, so we're actually opening 2 more in LA next year. And then I was supposed to do 1 more next year in LA and then 1 in Tribeca in New York. But we're postponing Tribeca till 2022. But the plan was, as of last month, to do 3 locations in New York in 2022. But I don't know, man. We're getting a lot of demand in Miami, and a lot of people are moving to Miami.
I really think, and you know, I'm glad that you used that term, like self-care, right? I really think like the self-care section of the health and wellness industry is on the come up. You know, so a lot more people are starting to understand the benefits of, you know, IV vitamin drips and B12 shots. And, you know, as you mentioned, there's no better time than right now to try to minimize the stressors in your life, right? So in what I've come to find is that people are inherently terrible at like being able to do it themselves, but when they can just go to one place and like say, okay, this is going to be my hour and a half or 2 hours that I spend here, like with my friends, they're much more likely to do, you know, it's just like the gym, right? It's like, you're not that likely to work out at home, but if you force yourself to go to the gym 1 hour a day, like you're probably going to get a workout in, you know, you're not just going to stand around there.
And I think like the substitution thing is what really clicked in everyone's head. It's like, yeah, we don't need to go to happy hour and have drinks. We don't need to go to brunch and get
because you feel terrible. You feel
but like, I think because it was that substitution, it just became so natural and easy. Which was
getting a Soho House membership.
No, you love shitting on me for Soho House, bro.
No, but we've had people, you know, even cancel their Soho House membership and switch to us, and they're like, "Why wouldn't we go to you?" When we're
I'm not a big fan of that one in West Hollywood anyway, so I'd rather go to the Remedy place.
I agree, off the record.
So let me ask you, what got you into these holistic practices in the first place? What made you want to, you know, search for this route? What made you intrigued about this in you know, from when you started?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of an interesting story because my mom and my sister are both nurses. So I thought since I was little that I always wanted to be a doctor. So I started volunteering in the hospital, worked in a hospital through undergrad while I was doing pre-med. And I don't remember like the exact moment, but it was my junior year. And I was like, damn, this kind of sucks. Like this hospital setting is so toxic. It's so stressful. Not only do this isn't the way that I would want to treat most people, but also I saw the lifestyles of these doctors that weren't sleeping, that weren't seeing their family. And so I'm like, is this really what I want to do?
I make a lot of money off doctors.
But it was like this whole moment where I was like, geez, did I just work this hard? Now I don't want to be a doctor. And I went through these like a midlife crisis at, 21 years old. But one of my friends was like, hey, have you ever thought about chiropractic? And I was like, I know I've never been to a chiropractor. Like, I don't even, like, what is that? Because in Rhode Island, you only go to a chiropractor if you get in a car accident. And it's like, they team up with lawyers, and it's just like this kind of like a weird gimmicky thing. And I was like, that is not what I want to do. So I was like, I'm going to take a year off. And I was always a personal trainer, and I was always like giving nutrition advice and helping my clients. But one of them was like, hey, in the state of California, a chiropractor is actually a primary care physician. And you can treat and diagnose anything. And it kind of like made me think, what if I go get my doctorate in chiropractic medicine? I don't even have to be a chiropractor, but I could have the scope to use what I know with movement, nutrition, and mental health to shape and help people. So I moved across the country without ever even getting adjusted or seeing a chiropractor, started this program, and then kind of fell in love with it. I was like, what? I'm going to take as many courses, learn as many styles, did rotations in like different multidisciplinary practices with all these different, you know, pro athlete doctors. And I just absorbed everything. And I was like, you know what? Now I have a tool belt of all these different approaches. You know, I can do the physical therapy. I can do the Chinese medicine. I can do the chiropractic. I can do the movement stuff. I can do the nutrition. I can do the functional medicine. And I built my practice off that. And I just wanted to be the one-stop shop, you know, instead of going to 5 different doctors, you know, go to one with one philosophy. Not only is that more convenient for you, but I think having one person's perspective and doing all of those things, it's just an easier, faster way to get to the results that you want.
Yeah, I think, you know, anytime that you can have a system in place that's backed by science, right, and has been proven or been seen to be effective in you know, individuals, I think, like you said, it's a much more streamlined approach, right? Like,
Yeah.
and that's why I agree with you. And that's, I tend to try to shift my clients towards people who follow a more holistic approach, right? Because of my background with movement and my understanding of, you know, the benefits, like you said, of these alternative approaches and just pumping people full of pills, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think that they're, you know, because I always get tired of the excuse, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I always get tired of the excuse, well, there's, you know, oh, big pharma always wins because there's not, you know, that's where all the money is. But I don't believe that, because we all make money in the health and wellness space, right? And we're what I would consider more preventative care practitioners than doctors are, right? Who are just prescribing medication. Why do you think that there isn't more of an emphasis on our side of health and wellness comparative to, you know, the big pharma, you know, prescription side?
I mean, that twofold. One, it takes time to actually truly understand a patient and to be able to monitor and help along the way. It takes time. So, you know, I think the average doctor visit in America is like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't have time to understand. And that gets back to the whole entire original problem of, you know, our whole entire medical schooling it's been the same way forever. You know, you're looking at what is the diagnosis, what are the symptoms, and what is the drug or the surgery to fix it. You know, they're not heavily trained in nutrition, in movement, and all of these things that, you know, work, but those things also take a lot of time. So I think time's the big issue, and it's just, there needs to be a whole entire restructure of these medical programs.
Why are doctor visits so short? Do you know? Like, is it just because they have to crank them out and make more money? Or...
Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. It's just high volume. And it's hard, you know, and I think also insurances aren't paying anywhere near what they used to. So now people need to see more patients, do more surgeries, in order to make the same amount. So it's just this whole snowball effect, and it's just sad, you know, because with my practice, I got to work with some of the most incredible people and families in the world. And, you know, they had the means to hire or work with anybody. And the things that they would tell me that they were being told, I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, it's absurd sometimes.
And I'm like, how can, you know, some of the richest families in the world be getting this advice? And what does that mean for the average person?
Oh, they're fucked.
And that always like really hit me hard. I remember one of my patients, she was like, you know, Dr. Leary, you're so expensive and, you know, you're worth it. Cause this is the first time I've been pain-free in 10 years. But she's like, what does someone do that can't afford someone like you? And I'm like, that's someone that's on pain meds for probably the rest of their life. Mm-hmm. And it hits me so hard. And that's kind of the premise behind a remedy place of why I wanted to build it and why I want to expand so quickly, because I really want this to be a free educational platform to teach people how to be healthy. You know, it doesn't take much. Foundational health is so important. And there isn't someone that is not only, because you need, I mean, not to compete with big pharma, but to have someone on the alternative medicine side that is a huge platform, that is funding the research to prove that all of these alternative therapies work, because Big Pharma is never going to fund research on alternative medicine.
No.
But the coolest thing that I've seen, like you said, like self-care is on the rise, but even more so, like the past couple years, even the past 5 years, alternative medicine is skyrocketing. And it's because people are asking questions and they don't want to be on medication. They don't want to have to get surgery. And I went to this really cool seminar in Nashville, probably like 3 or 4 years ago. And they're like, you know, and it was about the rise of alternative medicine and what do we think really it is. And, you know, it's one of, you know, from social media, which I'm not a huge fan of, but one of the best things that I think came out of it was, you know, if you did an acupuncture video or a meditation video or an adjustment video, now you can reach millions of people, where before there was no way, because no chiropractor or acupuncturist or whatever alternative medicine doctor had the funds to go put a commercial or a billboard anywhere. But big pharma, you're drilled with all of this marketing all the time. And I think America is probably one of, I don't know if it's the only, but it's one of the very few countries that is legally allowed to market drugs.
I think we're one of maybe two. I think.
Which is
absurd.
Crazy.
Bullshit. It's like,
and they put these like very happy families, like, you know, Brett Favre's throwing you a fucking touchdown. It's like, come on. Like for Cialis.
All you're doing is slapping a band-aid on.
You know?
That's it. Slapping a band-aid.
But it allows like the patients and the consumer to see that, want that, and then they go to their doctor and they're like, hey, I think I have this problem and I should be on this drug.
Yep.
That's not, they didn't go to school to diagnose themselves and then prescribe themselves.
Yeah.
And I understand that although they're crap you're gonna get out of it. Yeah, you might feel a little bit better with this, but now you're gonna have this problem because the way it reacted in your body.
Yeah.
Well, I think. Sorry, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I was like, I always tell my patients, it's like if there was a leaky pipe, you know, and there's a puddle on the floor, I think our medical system now is like, let's just keep mopping up the puddle. Where getting to the root of the cause and fixing the pipe, you never have to worry about the puddle. And that's what alternative medicine's about. You know, it's really diving in to what is the root cause.
Right.
And it's not that hard and it's not that complex when you actually have a good understanding of the human body.
Right. And I think, to go back to your point about time, right, is like people don't think that they have the time because it's all of these quick fixes, right, that don't really work, whether they be like fit teas or, you know, waist trainers or what crash diets even, you know. People think that, oh, okay, because this, you know, super shredded person on my Instagram tells me that it only takes 5 minutes a day to get abs, like then it should only take me 5 minutes, right? It's like, well, no, you know, no, it's going to take you, you know, months and months and months and years and years and years of you working really hard and working on proper dietary habits and making sure that you're getting the proper training program. Like, that's what it's really going to take. And they're like, no, I don't have the time for that. Well, what do you mean you don't have the time? Like, what are you doing?
Well, I think that also, this also all stems back to, I think it's just a certain way that everybody lives now. You know, everything is instant, everything is fast, everything is sped up. You know, I think we've taken out the factor of having to actually work for your stuff. You know, you go back then, you know, even back when everybody was technically their own farmland, you know, own farmer, trying to grow their own stuff, grow their own produce to survive, building your own home. You know, obviously things change and we don't need to do those things, but point blank, you know, how about your health? Like, that's the one thing that you can't quick fix. You know, it's like we always say, there's 3 things that you can't speed up. And what are those 3 things? Your health, your business, and your relationships. You can't speed those 3 up. They take time to build. So the problem is people keep trying to speed these things up because of the tools that are being given, or, you know, health, for example, you got drugs. Then even with relationships, you got social media. Then you have, you know, your business, all these, oh, do the shortcut program, do the this, do the that. Oh, you're going to make millions now. You know, so everybody just wants to skip the process and jump straight to what they're trying to envision, that result. Yet they might get a little taste of it, but guess what happens? You're going to come crashing down immediately. So my question is for you is, you know, it's obviously you're doing some amazing things. You're going to spread your business around the country, maybe even globally. What is your take on the approach people need to be taking now? And as far as the approach people need to be taking, us, you know, health coaches, us, anybody out there who's a doctor in the alternative health space, working with these holistic practices, what do they need to do to keep pushing this message, enhance this growth, and really drive into people the importance of it?
Yeah. I mean, I think this comes down to the biggest missing link in healthcare or anything health and wellness. It's education. Right now, people are fully dependent on any of their healthcare professionals or coaches or trainers, and they're mostly reactive. And I feel as though we really need to be independent and proactive. And to be independent and proactive, you just need to know. You need to understand that, like you said, there's no shortcuts. And most of the time, people just want to understand that they're cared for, that there is a plan, and that there is a way to get to where they want. And I think, there's so much shit out there. You guys see this. I'm sure it's like every product, every biohack. I mean, all of these things. And it's like,
one of my clients brought a sweatsuit the other day. I was like, bro, if you put that on, I'm gonna leave. Like, you're not putting on that fucking like plastic trash bag sweatsuit. Like, are you kidding?
I mean,
but it's $19.95. I don't care how much it costs. Like, yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like the body's this amazing machine in the best that it can be, and let it do what it does best. And that's kind of like the philosophy behind Remedy Place is like everything in the club. We're not saying it does X, Y, and Z. It's just putting your body in the absolute best state so it can do what it's supposed to do. So I think, us teaching people that only that individual is in control of their health, and us as anyone on their health team is there to just guide them and inspire them and to educate them. But it kills me to hear like every single product and service and all of these things that are these shortcuts and quick fixes, like you said, or these biohacks. And I'm like, guys, no, like either you put in the work or you don't.
If you just drink apple cider vinegar, guys, you guys are going to be fine. Yeah. How do you, as someone people respect as a health professional, right? How do you get those that aren't motivated to take initiative in their own life? How do you get them to understand that, listen, I can't do this for you. Your trainer can't do this for you. Like the 23 hours of the day I'm not with you, you need to be focused on what the goal is and what you're really trying to accomplish here. How do you get people to understand that it's really in their hands?
That time that I'm with them, I am as present as possible, and I try to shine as much light as I can. I practice everything that I preach, and I think you have to lead by example. If you interact with someone and you have a really special connection, that's enough to inspire them for the next 23 hours or the next week or the next month. And I think as any individual, all we can do is be the best person that you can be and lead by example, and just hope people follow. And I think that's another problem where you see a lot of people in this health and wellness industry, and they don't practice what they preach, and they're doing everything that they're not supposed to. And it's fun. You never have to be 100%, but if you're going to give someone advice and you don't follow that advice, then how can they respect you? And there's a false connection there. So I just think like being genuine, truthful, and practicing what you preach, that's the best thing that anyone can do.
Well, you definitely said it, lead by example. I think that's just something that, you hear constantly, but a lot of people, aren't doing. And you can see that, in many, many parts. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of coaches, a lot of, doctors, a lot of people out there that they'll say certain things, but yet they don't do them themselves. And at the end of the day, we all know that if you don't take care of yourself first, and how you can even, first of all, give advice, yet show them, through your own, experiences, it's not going to happen, So I'm glad you brought that point, because I feel like more and more people need to hear that, lead by example. If you want others to do better, you want others to do, the things you're doing, you want others to believe in your system, well, you need to start believing in your own system first and practicing your own system and become a master at it. So that way you can then be the right example for people out there.
Yeah. And people are more and more intuitive. People are really trusting their gut feeling. And that's why I said, it's like when you sit down with somebody and you connect, they know if they can call you bullshit.
Oh yeah.
100%.
And I love that. Like, that's such an amazing thing that the human body can have a gut intuition with even like the shortest interaction. And
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
we use it all the time down here. If you open up a spot down here, trust me, you'll be like, oh fuck, like that person, not a good. Oh, and that you're like just walking down the street, like, oh fuck,
Miami
did
will
I
do that
eat
to you.
something? Like,
Miami
nah,
will do
like,
that to
nah,
you.
just shady people, man.
So Jonathan, I wanted to ask you, because obviously, you know, like I mentioned before, you're doing amazing things, and you being a doctor yourself, I'm sure you're seeing people constantly. But how do you know how to separate the part of you playing the doctor and the part of you being a business owner? How does that work for you? What does that look like? And for other people out there who might have, you know, want to do similar things like yourselves or get into this industry, and they have to play both roles of being the doctor and the business owner, what's some of the advice you can give to them, and what are some of the practices you do to be able to make sure that both are operating at a high level?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many layers to that answer, but I think it just comes down to, oh, I mean, it obviously takes a lot of time. I mean, any entrepreneur will know that it takes a lot of hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I think it's just trusting the process, going with the flow. Don't like swim upstream. And, you know, if you feel a certain way, certain day, you have to go with it, and you have to follow your gut. I really have divided my practice and my business like pretty much in half. Like before Remedy, it was just, you know, 100-hour work weeks of, you know, patients and traveling. But, you know, for me, I look at the bigger picture. And another patient, I keep referencing my patients, but a lot of my patients kind of became my mentors over the years. But, you know, one of them was like, Dr. Leary, you know, if you want to change healthcare, how can you do that seeing one patient at a time? And I was like, you're right. Like, I can't be just with patients all day because I'll never reach the bigger picture. So I think understanding that, making sure I'm like extremely goal oriented and organized and a little OCD, and then just not allowing to get stressed by it. You know, understanding that there's a lot to do every minute of the day, but it's breathe, stay focused, work hard, do what you love. And there's no way, like, I mean, any business owner will say this: if you don't absolutely love what you're doing with your company, that is so hard. But for me, I'm around cool people all day. I'm making people healthy. Remedy Place is this amazing team. So I don't ever feel like I come to the club and I'm like, this is not work. When I'm interacting with patients, it's not work. I don't know if that answered your question, but I think it's just understanding balance. It's understanding what you're prioritizing things the right way, and just managing stress, you know, in a healthy way. And obviously,
Almost
then I have
definitely.
every tool needed to bring me back to balance when I'm in the club.
Yeah,
If
I
things
was
get a
helps.
little
about to say
stressful.
that. I was about to say, well, it definitely does help when you're in your own health and social club. Doesn't
Yeah,
feel like work at all.
yeah, it's definitely a bonus for me and my team. I mean, we're a little spoiled that we get to use these things every day.
So speaking about team, and I know you also mentioned with your clients telling you, you know, if you want to impact this industry, you can't just do it yourself. I would love to dive into that. Like, how did you pick the right team, and how did you go about that? How'd that process look? And what were maybe some of the obstacles you faced at the beginning, and how'd you get over some of that?
Yeah. I mean, our team is so incredible. Like, I can't say it enough. And we never did any, you know, ads, or we never put out anything to find people. You know, over the year before we opened, while we built, the team just naturally came together through friends and word of mouth and people reaching out to us. And I mean, there's two parts to my team. One, there are the actual alternative medicine doctors, and then we have the recovery specialists. I really want to curate, and even the ones we have so far, you know, it's like the next wave of these experts in alternative medicine. You know, we have all of these incredible people and mentors in the industry, but, you know, they're in their 40s and 50s and 60s. But now it's like, who's these next wave
Yeah.
of doctors? You know, and finding any doctor, alternative medicine or traditional medicine, that are super outgoing, that are super personable, that practice what they preach. It's a difficult thing to find, because if not only that, if they're so amazing, either, they want to do their own thing. But what I found is like having an actual team is so different than being independent by yourself. Um, it's something that I didn't even know was missing in my life.
Is that coming from our end or your end? Sorry.
I'm so sorry. I don't know how to turn that off.
No, it's all good.
Hopefully that's it. But yeah, so the doctors, it's really to put together all of the top alternative medicine doctors that are the next experts. And then the recovery specialists are just a really diverse group of people, whether they're ex-athletes, they're health coaches, trainers, nutritionists. They all have a very different background. But I grew up on the East Coast, and all of my friends that moved to New York and they're in finance, there's this corporate ladder. You work harder, you make more money, you get promoted. In health and wellness, if you're a trainer or a nutritionist or a doctor by yourself, like you reach a plateau. Like you always have to hustle, and you never really have like that gradual corporate.
Right. It's just the hours in the day.
Yeah.
You can only train so many people.
Exactly.
So part of like when we were hiring the team, all the recovery specialists, because we're scaling so quick and because there's so many opportunities, and there's so much that we can do, like part of their question is like, what is your dream job? Like what is your passion? And I want to figure out a way to build that path within Remedy Place. And I want to give them that corporate ladder where they can be fulfilled and actually be doing their passion, but have a trajectory to be like any other corporate executive. And I think that's another reason why the team has been so special. The first day we did this big brunch just to bring everyone together so everyone could meet for the first time. And I was so blown away because the team, that everyone is so close, and they've become like a family. And it's just amazing to bring that many different people from all different backgrounds and for them all to mesh. I mean, they don't leave work when work's over. They come in on their off days. They're hanging out with the team if they're not in the club. And I think that's also something that people feel, because when people come in, they're like, your team is so amazing. And we genuinely feel so cared for, and the people that actually want to help us. And I think that collectively is something that is really powerful.
How do you find that harmony within your team? Like, how do you know when you're sitting across from the person you're interviewing, for a potential position, how do you know that they're going to fit right into the coexisting team that you already have, right? And how do you kind of manage all of the different personalities that come with having a decent sized team, so that, you can have people feel motivated, that if they work hard, they'll be, not only acknowledged, but be able to move up that ladder where they can find more success in their career?
Yeah. I mean, I think we haven't had any challenges with that. I mean, luckily they just have come on. And I think, when you meet someone that's special and a really good person, and they actually are that, it's hard to not like them. Like I said, I think it comes down to like, even what I was saying with any of like the health coaches or professionals, it's like, if you shine bright and you're your best self, it's hard for people not to like you. But we also do a lot of, communication is very important. Our weekly meetings, we do a lot of team building things. We do so much outside of the club because we want people to be vulnerable with each other. And I think also allowing the team to be vulnerable and doing these like workshops of, character building, or whatever we do, it's just opened up so many emotions. And I think with any vulnerability, it allows a deeper connection, because it's not just about being a work team. It's about, really caring and being friends.
So what would you say? My bad. I was gonna say, what would you say is that recipe to create the culture you're creating? What is that one thing that sticks out the most for that culture, and how to be able to duplicate it into your different your different places that you're gonna be opening?
I think it's just inspire and truly care. Like if you're going to hire somebody, like have their best interests at heart and really try to do everything that you can, because in the corporate world too, like people don't stay with their companies very long anymore. People are jumping around company to company.
Yep.
So
5 years, 10 years
Yeah.
max.
I mean, we got our start in probably the number one, trainer company,
Equinox.
corporate Equinox, like neither of us stayed more than
I said
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I was a trainer at Equinox too.
Oh yeah.
Boston.
Oh, hey.
How long were you there for?
6 months.
See? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the turnover rate there is like, it's like over 75%, within the first 3 months. But it goes back to sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but it goes back to your point, right? Like being open and honest with people. It's like, nothing to knock Equinox. They did a lot for both of us, in the starts of our careers, but we saw a ton of people, especially down here, right, get into it and be like, oh, you can make a ton of money. We have trainers making 6 figures. It's like, yeah, but you didn't tell them that they're going to be making $600 for the first, a paycheck, which are biweekly, for the first 3 months. Like, oh yeah, you can get to 6 figures. Like, yeah, but you're going to be grinding. Like you're going to be eating a lot of peanut butter sandwiches for the first couple of months while you're working there.
You're going to be dragging on sleep too.
Which is unmotivating to people. Like at least as my employer, give me a heads up that this is what I'm going to be getting myself into. And then if I want to embark on that, then it's my choice, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I worked at Equinox, I was commuting an hour away from Rhode Island to Boston. Jeez. And my parking pass for the train station was like $250 a month. And then my train pass for the month was $300 a month. So I physically didn't make enough money from Equinox to pay for my transportation to get to Equinox. So then I had to get a weekend job waiting table to be able to go to work.
So you got a job so you can work to be able to fund your other work.
To be able to go to your other job. Yeah, to be able to get to
work. Jeez.
Yeah. I remember my card got to, I mean, the tow companies on South Beach are like notorious for ripping people. It's like $350 if you get your car towed. I got towed twice in 1 week. I was like, this is more than I made in a month. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I got to pay my rent. I got all these bills, student loans. Like, oh, this is rough. But it's, you as an employer, right? It is, if you're doing things, in a moral way, it's like, you got to tell people what's up. Like, it's okay if that's a route that you need to take as an employer so that you can keep the lights on, the doors open, but don't blindly lead people down a path that they're not ready to embark on.
Yeah, I agree.
So when you open up these new spots, are you planning on staying in Cali or you're going to move over to one of the new ones?
So I'll be bouncing around these Cali locations, but then, I'm an East Coaster at heart. I belong in New York. Career-wise, and in this industry, I belong in LA. But personality-wise, I belong in New York. So I'm very excited to the moment that we open up there, I'll be back and forth.
Which means you'll eventually be down here because every New Yorker is down here.
Miami's definitely looking like number 3 for sure. This is going to be our 3rd city, or maybe even come in before New York.
I mean, rough life bouncing between LA, New York, and Miami. It'd be hard to sell.
Yeah. Once again, it's another perk of the job. I'm spoiled. I mean, I can't even fathom what's going to happen these next couple of years. And how cool is that to then be able to jump around, have these different cool communities in every city. Once again, that's so fulfilling.
Well, we'll definitely be enjoying watching your growth, and definitely we need to experience some of that.
Oh yeah, I can't. Next time we go to LA, we're hitting.
Yeah, when you're next time, 100%. You guys need to come.
I appreciate it.
Right off the plane, no doubt about
it.
that. That coast
to
coast jet lag, I'm out.
The post LAX remedy.
I'm miserable getting off that plane coming into LA. I'm like, fuck, like.
So for these clubs, since obviously you have your core system that's implemented in all the clubs, but is each club going to have a unique thing that stands out to them? Is there's going to be something different from each of these clubs? That there's going to be something that's offered different in each one? How is that going to play out?
No, so all the clubs will have the same services, and as they evolve, every club will evolve in itself. The design and the whole psychology behind the design of it not being white and sterile and not look like a clinic and looking more like a bar lounge, hotel lobby-esque feel. There'll be the same tones, maybe just different textures, and then just a slightly different look in each one. But they will all look like Remedy Place.
No, definitely. I think that's going to be awesome to experience. So you got to let us know when the Miami one opens because we'll be your first customers.
I love it. Wait till you guys see number 2 that's opening next year. We just submitted all of our plans, and number 2 is insane. Like, if people,
can you announce where they're going to be located, or is that something you got to like keep?
Yeah, no, I can announce number 2. Century City will open up. It's looking like end of spring. Where the city is very behind on permits. So our expedited permit is no longer going to be a month, and they're saying that could be 5 months now.
Thanks, Newsom.
Yeah.
But is there a rooftop on that one?
No, this one's in the new Fairmont development. So it's a little bit bigger. It's just gorgeous new property. The cool part about it is our bar is an extension outside into this like gorgeous terrace. So the whole entire bar will be indoor, outdoor seating.
Oh, great. You got to take advantage of that LA weather, man.
Oh, 100%.
So when you said, when's that one ready again?
End of spring.
End of spring. So we're booking our flights.
Oh yeah, we're going for sure.
End of spring.
Yeah, you guys should come out for the launch party.
Oh, you will definitely. Now that you said that, you will definitely.
Yeah, you let us know. We'll be one of the first people to RSVP for sure.
And I know my girlfriend is gonna be.
Oh, and how she'll be like, LA, perfect.
Done.
We're going. Take my picture here. Take my picture. We love you, Jenny.
Her daughter just moved over there because her dad lives over there. So her daughter just moved to be a year there with her dad. So she'll find any excuse to just want to go out to LA, just to be able to go visit. So
it's a little cloudy in Miami. I think we need to go out.
Oh. literally, no joke.
Yeah. Now we're almost at an hour, man. I want to, before we wrap things up, I want to, first say thank you for coming on and kind of, giving a little bit about your history, your story, as well as, what really laid the foundation for this amazing business Remedy Place that you have now and in the services that you're providing to your community. It's really, refreshing to see that there are thriving businesses and thriving, practitioners within the holistic space, sharing that, positive message of like, listen, it's going to be a lot of work, but, you can do it, you can take care of it. And we have the tools to help you get to the place that you want to go. So, really, really appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah,
where can people find you? How can they reach out to you? What's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, I think the easiest, through just the podcast, Instagram. If they want to check out Remedy Place, it's just at Remedy Place. And then my personal is Dr. Jonathan Leary. Both are cool. You'll see, in the reels, a lot of the videos behind.
Oh, you kill it.
In his face.
Yeah, you kill it with the reels.
People are loving those ice bath entries. Everyone wants to see that first reaction.
Oh yeah, we'll have to get some breath work. And I love. I learned from Wim Hof. When he was here a couple of years ago, and it's really made a huge difference in my life. That the breathing, the ice bath, everything.
I think that's the first thing. If anyone's like, "What's the simplest thing that I can do every day?" Over meditation, over anything, intense breathwork exercises. You can achieve anything you want out of a breathwork meditation. It's fascinating.
Yeah, if you're looking for a healthy high, 30 minutes of breath work, that'll get it done.
Yeah, 100%.
So you're gonna have a high bar, and it's just gonna be there people doing breath work. What do you call the high bar?
That's like our breathwork classes. People come out, they're crying. It's like they went through years of therapy.
I've come out of some of those really intense breathwork classes, like sweating my fucking ass off. Like, dude, I feel like I have like I'm sweating like I have the flu. And you're like, it's remarkable what you can do with your own body just through your breath.
Yeah. 100%.
So, dude, you're definitely you're itching me to just get my ass over there. So,
I know
all our Californian listeners, make sure you go over there. The second spot's opening up. All you New Yorkers, stay put. Our Miamians, stay put, because we are definitely going to be excited to hit up your spot.
Amazing. Such a pleasure to meet you guys.
Yeah,
No, same here,
same
brother.
here.
Same here. I'm gonna hit you with a few little quick questions, rapid fire, and then we'll close things off. All right, number one. What is your favorite holistic practice, if you had to pick one?
Breath work.
Ooh.
Done. Number two. What is your favorite spot in your entire facility?
The ice bath classes.
Boom. And then number three. What is the biggest piece of advice you can leave off to all our listeners today?
Just shine bright. Do everything that you can do to be the best person you can be. And then everything else should fall in place.
Guys, you heard it.
Really appreciate you coming on, Jonathan. Till next time, guys.